thanks, Hosher. Thanks to your team. Thanks for everything that you guys have done. Working with the guys in your team and with you in particular, I mean, it's been awesome. I'll throw Herrera in there. Herrera's been amazing. He's been our primary dev on this project, and just really great to work with. Always.
Let's just quickly go over the two solutions we have built you guys. Both of them were your brainchild, so the whole credit goes to you. So
the problem we've been trying to solve is getting crews trained. How do we get more crews trained when they're installing Brava? If they haven't done the training, then it sends them a link directly to that text to that training. And not only that, the contractor and the crew leads can see who's trained, right? It's designed for crews. It's available in multiple languages. It can be helpful to sales. It can be helpful to your general contractor. It can be helpful to just anybody that wants to understand and work with Brava. So now there's no guessing. There's no, yeah, I think I did it, or yeah, I did it before. We know right there. Hey, is it done? Is it not done? Text Tech really just connects whatever messaging app they're already using to our resources. So they can ask a question in plain English. They can get the answer they need in short form, and then a link usually right there in the text message where it's like, hey, that's a good answer, but where does this come from? And they take them to the technical bulletin or the installation guide.
So now let's talk about adoption, because that's a huge question mark with all of these enterprise transformation projects.
We released Crew Connect at the beginning of this year, and we're looking at 200 to 300 users added per month. And that includes our crew members, our crew leads, and our contractors, right? So a way that Crew Connect especially has powered our level 1 training, it's been transformative.
So Brava, and you lead the technical services division. We have been working on more products, obviously, with Brava, but what we have done with you guys has been already live. It's like actual users are using it. So I want to dive more into that. So let's just quickly go over the two solutions we have built you guys. Both of them were your brainchild, so the whole credit goes to you. So just quickly explain your ideas, like what the two ideas we worked on.
I'll pitch it back to you guys. I mean, RipeSeed has been instrumental in making these tools actually become a reality. So I can't take all the credit, and I've obviously worked with a great team that brings all their feedback. So that's not on me altogether. But I would say there's those two tools. I'm assuming you're talking about Text Tech and Crew Connect. So I'll start with Text Tech. Text Tech is the thought process was there's all these amazing resources, documents, answers that we have on our website and through our team. We're obviously always looking to support contractors where they need it and how they need it. And so a lot of times contractors are on the move, they're on the roof, they're on the phone, and we wanted to see if we could meet them there in a quicker, more accessible way. So Text Tech really just connects whatever messaging app they're already using to our resources. So they can ask a question in plain English, they can get the answer they need in short form, and then a link usually right there in the text message where it's like, hey, that's a good answer, but where does this come from? And it can take them to the technical bulletin or the installation guide, whatever that answer is coming from.
Perfect. And that's Text Tech. That's the first thing that's
Text Tech. Yeah.
And now what's the bigger fish, the Crew Connect?
Yes, yeah. So, and Crew Connect has been in development, or at least an idea stage, for a long time. It's always the pain point, or the problem we've been trying to solve is getting crews trained. How do we get more crews trained when they're installing Brava? And so really to take it back a step, our level 1 training, it's been hugely successful. It's designed for crews. It's available in multiple languages. And it can be helpful to sales. It can be helpful to your general contractor. It can be helpful to just anybody that wants to understand and work with Brava, but it's designed for that crew member that's going to go put that system on so that they get it on right first time, right? So how do we get those guys trained? How do we get more of those guys trained? And in the past, one of the things that we would do, if we were able to connect with that contractor beforehand, before the job happened, we would send them the link to the training. We would say, hey, make sure you share this with your crews. A lot of times they'd send that link out to their crew leads or their crew members. And then we would hope that those crew leads would send the link out to the other crew members. And then we would hope that the crew members would take the time to do the training, right? That wasn't happening as often as we would like, to be honest, right? So how do we fix that? So what Crew Connect does, it lets the contractor create the project and then just add their crew leads or crew members. And then all he takes is phone number. Crew members can add themselves even, with a QR code. And as soon as that's done, they get the project information on their phone via text. And if they're trained, then it says, hey, you're trained, you're good to go. If they haven't done the training, then it sends them a link directly to that text, to that training. And not only that, the contractor and the crew leads can see who's trained, right? So now there's no guessing. There's no, yeah, I think I did it, or yeah, I did it before. We know right there, hey, is it done? Is it not done? And everybody's on the same page, which in general gives that contractor and the property owner more confidence that their install is going to be good to go.
Perfect, perfect. Now, you have mentioned a lot of times about crew, and crew is the center point of this product. So most of the time, companies and enterprises invest where their customers are, not where their crews are. So why do you think investing in something where the crew is beneficial for a company like Brava? Why do you think, where do you think the need arises for that? Why do you need good people trained? Why do you need to track their training so well for Brava to be successful?
Absolutely, yeah. There is a huge difference in focus there, and I would say it's more just of a bigger picture, right? So 100%, who's getting that Brava roof is the property owner, right? Who wants that Brava roof to be on there so that it performs as designed, so that it looks like it was designed. All those pieces come together and have a good experience when it's being installed, right? We've all, had projects or newer projects where the process of getting it done was very difficult. So all those pieces put together, that doesn't come from necessarily going to the homeowner or the property owner or even the contractor always. Where a lot of times that comes from is having those crews know what they're doing up front, understand the system, install it correctly the first time, so there's no back and forth, no callbacks. And really, that's a win-win-win, because Brava has a product that people love, and they get it on right, and it performs the way it's supposed to. And that's what the property owner wants. The contractor doesn't have a whole bunch of callbacks, so the contractor gets the project installed. It goes on quickly because the crews understand what they're doing. They're not having to figure it out. It goes on correctly because they're not guessing and they're not doing stuff wrong that we could clearly just tell them right up front. And then the crews have a good experience too. So they're not hesitant to work with Brava. They're open to working with Brava on a regular basis. So that means that it's easier to sell those jobs because you have the labor available. So across the board, going straight to the crew and the contractor is, in my opinion, is the way to go, because it gives everybody a good experience at the end of the day.
So Brava makes like this excellent product, but if the installer is not properly trained, then the customer gets a bad experience, and then they blame it on the company, right?
100%.
To make the customer experience better, you have to train the people properly, which is the crew, and that is what Crew Connect enables.
Absolutely, 100%.
Perfect. Amazing. So for someone who has not seen Crew Connect, how would you define it? Like, what are the main features that you think really stand out in Crew Connect that were not there before, or that were manual, that now Crew Connect does very, very decently?
I would say the main thing to look for when you get into Crew Connect is that it's quick, and the overall experience is very simple. And everybody's short on time these days. Everybody's looking to kind of move quickly and get it right the first time. So it's very simple. And then especially for the crew leads and the crew members, there's really not a lot of fiddling with an interface. They can, and there's access to more information if they need it or want it, or if they're just savvy that way, great. But if at the very baseline level, they don't need to even get into the app. I mean, they end up using it, but they don't even necessarily feel like they are. So what happens is they just hit that link, they use it, they go through the interface. It kind of smooths that whole process for them. But it's not like they have to learn a new system. That's one thing I would say is huge as far as the experience goes.
Nice, perfect. Now let's talk about adoption, because that's a huge question mark with all of these enterprise transformation projects. Like, people build the projects, but then it's very, very hard to get people to actually use it. So what's the adoption rate like at Crew Connect? Like, are people using it, or is it like a nice shelf product?
No, it's actually being used. So that's one of the amazing things about our training and our certification program and Crew Connect's, the way we plugged it into our system and our process. We've got hundreds of users already. We just started this. We released Crew Connect at the beginning of this year, and we're looking at 200 to 300 users added per month. So Yeah. So, and that includes our crew members, our crew leads, and our contractors, right? So on the contractor side, you're looking at around 100 a month that are actually actively engaging with it. And that's continuing to grow. So I think in that sense, the adoption has been excellent. We're excited about the usefulness of the tool, and we're always looking to make it better. And obviously we continue to work with RipeSeed to build new features and make it, better every step of the way.
Amazing. Awesome. So now we have worked through quite a few iterations of CrewConnect. So in your perspective, what the development process has been like for someone who contains this knowledge about the industry, about training the people, and then coming in with the development team and building a product like this. So how has the development process been like for you?
I would say starting at the very beginning, from ideation to do we have a product that we can use, a tool we can use? That was a lot of that was new for me. Obviously we worked on text tech before, and so I kind of learned some of that back and forth. But working with the guys in your team and with you in particular, I mean, it's been awesome. I'll throw Herrera in there. Herrera's been amazing. He's been our primary dev on this project, and just really great to work with. Always good taking that input and saying, okay, how does this work practically? How do I take this need or this feature or the way you want to use this and turn it into an actual tool, which isn't my expertise. So that's always helpful. As far as once we launched to kind of now, it's been really cool. What that's been really responsive. When there have been bugs or things that we needed to solve on the fly, the response has been super fast, and we were able to fix those things or figure out why they were causing them. That's one of those things these days. You just have to move so quickly because there's so many different ways that a tool can be used, and sometimes you can't even anticipate it. And you're like, oh, great, let's solve that, let's fix that, let's give that feature a name. Yeah, that's been really exciting, really fun.
Nice. So what was the biggest fear in starting something like CrewConnect? Because CrewConnect is much bigger in scope than TextTech. TextTech, I think TextTech went into production in like a couple of months, and CrewConnect took some time, and it's a complicated product. So what were the biggest fears in the early days when you wanted to start CrewConnect? And then how did you start overcoming those fears? Because that's a big issue in enterprise adoption as well, because people don't take these steps because they fear that a lot of things will happen. So did you have those fears? But for those fears, and how you were able to overcome those fears?
I'd say, adoption is definitely one of them. Or will people use it? I think my main fear with all these tools, and this is it's a heavy focus for me in particular, and especially in the field that we're working in, but in general, is I'm always working for simpler interface, easier to use, less intrusive, less friction, right? You'll hear, Herrera will tell you like less friction, right? Like that's what I'm always talking about. Like, how do I make this smoother? Why did I have to do that extra step? All those kinds of things. So I'm always trying to remove anything that's not fluid and that's not what's already in your workflow, or at least that can be removed.
User experience was one of the fear.
Yeah, user experience is the simple way of saying that, and I would say simplicity, right?
And was the fear like the infinite development time as well? Because it's possible you start something.
Right. How long are we going to work on this and it still be kind of not quite right? The solve was like, hey, these are the minimum things that have to work, and they need to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
And then we built that and we released it there, and then after that we've iterated behind the scenes, making sure that the process works and that it's going to be a smooth experience for the user, and then adding that feature in. So that's kind of been that path. And I think it's worked really well for us so far.
Amazing. Thanks a lot, Daniel. Thanks a lot for your time. Anything you would like to add at the end?
I'll add a couple things real quick. First off, thanks, Hosher. Thanks to your team. Thanks for everything that you guys have done. It's a new world out there where we can build directly for the customer that we're trying to serve. And so that means we can cut out all these extra steps that they don't need, right? And so that's that user experience that we're looking for. So thank you to you guys. I'll just say the way that CrewConnect especially has powered our level 1 training it's been transformative. So the interaction and the use of our training and the actually getting down, like we talked about, right down to that crew member, it's making Brava installs better every day. So thanks to you guys.
Amazing. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks, Roger. Have a good one.